Hello and welcome to the Sanctuary, a safe space to speak from the heart. I'm your host Israel, and my guest today is my friend, my brother, music producer, Mr. Moonwalka himself. Actually, artist too. How's it going, man? Welcome to the Sanctuary.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yo. So let's start. Like, how did you even get into music?
Music. That's like let me see. I mean, usually people. It's not like it's a cliche, but we usually start very young, right? And usually from the church. And my dad bought me a piano, and I sort of learned that piano by myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I cannot read music. I can just play by hearing just cause my dad made that provision for me.
Oh, okay.
And then my mom got me enrolled in the choir, and I've always been in the choir for at least up till my teenage years. Yeah.
What were you doing in the choir? Like, was it alto, tenor, bass? Which one?
Oh, I was playing the piano.
Oh, that's what you're doing. You weren't singing. Okay,
None
gotcha.
of the above. Yeah, just playing the piano.
Okay. What do you like about playing the piano, though?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
What do you like about playing the piano?
Um, just just for the fact that I understand it without like studying it, and it's a little peaceful. It's like a therapy. You know what I mean? So being able to recreate like melodies from your head, that never existed before, right? But you
Hmm,
just let your fingers, sort of make that happen for you.
nice. Was it electronic?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
You know what? I don't know. Was it Casio, whatever?
yeah. It's Casey. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what? I remember, like, why I'm saying this is because, like, I was in the choir, but I didn't play any instruments. Like, everybody in my family can play some instruments except me, because, like,
Yeah,
I don't have the discipline to learn that thing. It's just so hard.
yeah.
But you know what I like about Casio is that, it has all these numbers on top, which, like, different instruments, right?
That's
I used
correct.
to just all I did was just like, oh, let me try what is 93. Oh, happy scored or whatever, and then you press it and it's like a weird sound.
Right, right. Because speaking of that, right? My dad got me this xylophone that had numbers from 1 to 7, just like how the piano will be numbered, right? So I remember this was actually the only music I ever read, just for the fact that it came with a book that said, okay, happy birthday is. I remember the number just like yesterday is 112143
3,
one one two
2,
one five seven
3,
one
4.
one two one one seven. So I used that, and I sort of transferred that knowledge to a real piano. I'm like, oh, it's the same stuff, It's just not
Mm,
colorful like the xylophone, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
So like, you're playing a keyboard in church. What time do you say, okay, wait, I can start making my own music?
oh, that's a very interesting question because there's a different timing, when you're just playing music and beginning to understand music and enjoying it, then to a time whereby you feel like, okay, I want to make music and create music of your own, right? So this
Mm,
happened at a time my cousins came back from India. At that time, I was still in Nigeria, and I'm thinking this should be probably maybe 2006, 7ish, maybe. Yeah. So they came back from India, and then he just showed me how to download a demo, audio workstation, and that was a mix pad. It was called a mix pad back then. So just because I was able to download a demo, studio software, he showed me how to layer vocals. So he did some sample, he layered like 4 different vocals, and that sort of like opened my eyes that, oh, I don't need 10 people to sing. I can do everything on my own. So meaning I can
mm,
be the tenor guy, I can be the soprano guy, I can be the treble guy, all in one shot. So that sort
yeah.
of like kick-started my career, like just the way that got me curious about recording in general. You know what I mean?
Mm. So like, you used Mixpad for a while.
Oh, that was a demo version, and that only lasted for a week. And whatever, yeah. So whatever project we did, we could not even export it because it's a demo, right? And so he all went away
Oh,
with the demo,
okay.
unless you buy it, right? Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
But
So, like, did you decide to buy, or what did you do?
oh no, back then the internet wasn't like what it is today, right? Because back then, just to get music downloaded, it could take me 24 hours for one song. So,
Yes.
so to
What were
get the
you
mix
using? Were you
tag,
using
we're using a modem.
Napster or LimeWire?
It was a Motorola modem. Then we use LimeWire, in order to, which was our torrent of that time.
Right.
Yeah. He showed me LimeWire, how to download MP3s through LimeWire, and that crashed my mom's computer. She was so mad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, okay. Now, at what point did you start actually, like, you said, okay, I'm gonna get like an actual studio software or play around with.
Yeah. Honestly, as soon as I could, because but back then I didn't have that provision. I was still in high school, but I was able to use what was available to me. There's a saying, it's like when the desirable becomes unavailable, the available becomes desirable. You know what I mean? So basically, I just had a piano in my high school, and I was in charge of all musicals in my high school. That's Maris College in Abuja Life Camp, right? So I was in charge of the musical. So I had access to the piano, and the piano had this recording, function, right? That you could play your drums, then find the keyboard and add to that. So that's where I started producing, apparently, on the piano itself, and saving it on the piano itself. And then I wrote music as well back in high school. People back in high school know that I had a book filled with lyrics. That was even
you were writing
time.
then? Like, what kind of songs were you writing?
Oh, I was doing rap. I was doing a lot of rap. I was just trying to discover myself. But, I think I can do all genres, if you ask me, except rock and metal. I just feel like I can try any other stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So you're doing this thing in high school, making these beats on stuff. Like, did you perform any of your songs at, like, school shows?
Oh, no. At the time, I was mostly playing only for school functions, right?
All right.
Yeah, and there was a time I was used as a school alarm, right? 6 a.m. I have to play the piano for the whole school to wake up. So
were you, like, in
me.
boarding school?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So I had to play Ave Maria in the morning, so they wake up. So nobody liked the piano guy anymore,
So, like, did you do so from, like, did you move straight to Halifax from your high school, or did you do any university in Abuja?
Yeah, I went to university in Edo State. I went to Igbinedion.
Wait, why would you? Oh, okay, makes sense. Never mind.
Yeah, so I did 4 years. I did my bachelor's of science in geography and urban planning, and I graduated from that. Then moved to Halifax, straight from Nigeria.
Okay. So what was the I guess the push to move to Halifax?
Yeah, I can't really point my finger. Only my mom has the right answer, but I know the general answer is for obviously a better life for sure. And but as far as factors that made us want to leave is my mom is a nurse, so she had the skills to move over here. And that's as much as I know. But all I remember, I'm naive. I'm in university. All I care about is partying and all that. All I know is my mom will call me, hey, come sign his papers, and then I'll grumble. But I'm happy being here. You know what I mean? So,
right. When did you guys now move?
Yeah, we came here 2013.
Okay. And, like, did you, so moving here, did you, like, start working right away, or like, did you do school?
It was 6 months of confusion.
What happened?
Yeah, because when I first moved, everybody, warned us about the culture shock. I'm like, nothing can shock a Nigerian, man.
Right.
I'm like, like nothing can suck in Nigerian. So I come in, I have all these degrees. I feel good about myself, and I'm trying to get a job. But hey, they're like, no, you need the experience, you need the Canadian experience. But there, I'm
I
like, that's
never
why I'm here.
understand that thing, eh? I don't understand that thing. But
I'm like,
anyway,
that's
I
why I'm here.
completely get it.
Yeah, and then I asked somebody, why are they asking me for this when I'm trying to get the experience, right? And someone told me something very important. They want you to volunteer, do some free work, right? And I'm like, oh, I see. So do some free work and then get kicked out, and then what? Right? Yeah. So, but my first job was very good. I worked at with a small firm that sort of worked with Costco at the time.
Mm.
Yeah, I got the job by accident. Like I already gave up. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna pull up to the store and see maybe if they have something for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I met a lady named Tina, and she took me to the manager. He just told me you're hired. I'm like, oh, that's it.
Mm.
That's it. So 2 years later, I was working there. That really helped me a lot. And I basically grew from there, just understanding the Canadian, work system and some of those jazz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, completely understand. So, excuse me. So, like, you did the work, like, but were you still making any music? Well, like, once you moved, did you do any musical thing, or you just pushed that
Yeah.
to the back?
Oh no, no. As I came, remember I mentioned something like one time we discussed we have about I wanted to start something called the immigrant music, right? Where I wanted to sort of express my pain on what I'm going through. But then I met my business partner, and then he told me about his idea with the official night owls, and we sort of just put those ideas together, and that way he was able to support. My partner really supported me a lot as far as my music. Shout out to Kakovi, because he studied music business in NSCC while I went to study recording art.
Oh, what is recording arts?
So it's basically audio mixing, mastering, while he studied the business aspect of, music, right?
Let's rewind a bit though. You were in Igbinedion for 4 years doing urban planning. Were you
Right.
still doing any musical thing, anything musically then?
Yes, I was. I was with a group of guys called Vena, and those guys really, shaped my ideas in terms of understanding, my audio workstation, which is a software, you know, and that was when I basically started producing properly.
Which one did you use?
I used FL Studio at the time, and that was FL Studio, I think, 7.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Do you still use FL today?
Oh no, no! Right now I use Logic Pro.
Oh,
I
okay.
I like Logic nowadays. Not that I don't miss FL. It's just that I haven't been in FL since FL 7. Right now there's FL 20, so I'm way behind.
Whoa! Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So
No, that would be like, what is going on here? Where is this thing that I
yeah,
use?
you
Where
gotta
is
you
all
gotta
that
slow me
stuff?
down.
So
Yeah,
yeah, no, completely understand. So,
yeah.
and then did you learn Logic in NSCC?
Oh no, Logic is self-taught, just based on the idea of FL Studio and just understanding, what a timeline is, understanding what a pattern is, understanding where your instruments are, understanding what a wave file is or a MIDI file is, just knowing those little things here and there.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, just it's
okay.
basically the same, just a different, interface.
Yeah, let's talk about official night owls, right? So you're
Sure.
here, you're doing the which one came first, official night owls or the work you were doing with the company that was doing stuff with Costco?
I was doing with Costco while we were working things out with Official Night Owls.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what was the idea between that behind that? I know you told me that like, met this guy, but like walk me through it and like was the official night owls already existing and what is the story behind the name itself? Like night owls.
Yeah, so the name is all, as far as the name, as far as the logo, the design, everything is all credited to my partner because he specifically, went for that. and he said night owls because we never sleep, because we went on in the
Ah,
morning.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So there were other companies called Night Owl. I'm like, okay, we are gonna be the official. So we made it we made it compulsory for every firm or client that we work with to always mention official night owls, not just night owls.
mm,
Yes.
mm, mm. So, like, and then what was the concept behind like night owls? Like, what services would night owls offer the public?
Yeah, the dream for official night owls is our short term goal at that time was just to be able to set up our studio, which we did, and then work on me being the first artist, which we did.
Oh, by that
Yeah,
time, like, okay, so you worked with these guys in Igbinedion, still making beats, but like, I know you say you had this book of lyrics, but like, at what time were you like, okay, now I want to make my own record or whatever? Was that in Canada or back in Nigeria?
oh, that was back in Nigeria. Back in Nigeria, I was making some little waves in Igbinedion at the time, before I left, because I made some. My music was not made for the general public. I made music that only the students could understand.
Oh, in
Yeah,
what way?
yeah. So it's like limiting my lyrics to only lingua that is used in that community.
Okay, you have
Yeah,
to be there. You have to
yeah,
understand the okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So and they asked me why am I not singing general music. I'm like because I just want to test myself and see if I can handle this little community. Then I will
Yeah.
be able to handle the world. You know.
Right, right, right. That's actually really smart, man. Start
Yeah.
small. Like, even if you fail, it's your fucking classmates, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
That's right.
But
That's
in
right.
the process, you are learning and you are taking things there that you actually take to the. That is smart. That's smart. I
Oh,
like that approach.
I make some weird experiments. Like one time, I put a Drake CD in my dad's car, and I went to school in the next province. I won't be back for God knows 3 months, and I know that he wouldn't know how to take it out. So my idea was I just want to see how much music can subconsciously get to you. So when I came back, he was whistling it. Like he just didn't know where he came from, but he's whistling Drake's music. So I'm like, okay, now I see why radio play is important.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So
Right, because
these are
like
just
it's
little things. Yeah.
subconscious, right? It's subconscious. Like,
Subconscious.
this thing where the very first time you hear a song is like, this song is the shit, is not good at all, is
Right, right.
bullshit. And then 6 weeks later, you're like, yeah, that's the jam, that's the
Right,
jam.
because it's been slammed so many times into your ear that when you hear it, your brain tell you, "Whoa, you've heard this before and you like it."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so official night owls. And then what was the process of making your first record? What did you call it?
Yeah, I called it the Moon Chronicles 1.
Oh, nice. And then
Yeah.
how long did you work on it? How many songs did it have?
Uh, yeah, he had 5 tracks, and
Mm.
the first track was "Welcome to the Moon." Second track was titled "Better Now." I think third track was called "Movement." Fourth track was "Follow You," and then the fifth track was one other song I don't remember at the moment, but yeah, "Up and Down." Yeah, there was a party song called "Up and Down." Yeah, so that was the EP is still out there. You can check it out. Moon Chronicles 1. And yeah, I was just beginning to understand myself.
Yeah. And you produced every song on there, I'm guessing.
No, I did not. At that time, I was not even handling any production. I just came in as an artist. I just wanted to be focused on as an artist. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, back then we had the dream of having a producer, and we had Adabu. He's from Zimbabwe, but he probably moved back now. But he was our in-house producer and mixing engineer at that time. So he will like record me, mix and master. And while
Mm.
my partner Kakovi will set up the shows, and set up the promotion and all that good stuff.
How did you guys actually meet anyway?
Yeah, it's my brother that introduced Ian Kakovi. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
and
So, like your brother thought you guys had the same, I guess,
idea,
yeah, you're right, to do this music thing. Okay,
right?
so you work on this first project. Like, how was it, not working, I guess, not producing that first project? Like, did you ever want to produce anything on that project, or you were just like, okay, just, showing up
Oh,
and recording?
oh, at that time, honestly, at that time, I was at my highest spirits. I don't think I've been so happy. I haven't been more happier since that time. I cannot lie to you. That was one of my best moments. So yeah, because I had energy, I was excited, I was motivated, you know, and I was happy to be surrounded by people who were willing to, bring out this other person in me without me being the one thinking about the production, mixing, then singing, So I just want to focus on one task and see how good it is if I focus on only one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. So, okay, fine. You do that, and everything is going great. Album is out. You're doing all these shows. Actually, no. Let's start with. Do you recall the first show you performed that
Mm.
to back that the Moon Chronicles one?
Yeah. I did a couple of shows at the Seahorse back then. I did a show that one time. That was when I met Dub Cartel. They came to us. They're like, hey, we like your style. Like I love Dub Cartel. They're the best humans in the world. I just want to put that out there. Shout out to Dub Cartel. I've never seen so many good people in one group. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. So those guys came up to us and they really, helped me to sort of understand, music life in Canada as far as festivals. And they even got us to tag along to evolve, helped us out in so many ways, that
Okay,
I
wait. Pause. 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 Let's talk. How was your first evolve?
oh, my first evolve was great. It's my first and only evolve since COVID anyways.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right, right,
but
right.
it was great. Yeah, it was very nice.
How
It was a
long were
good
you there
experience.
for? Were you there for like the whole thing, or?
I think I was there for just 2 nights or 3 nights.
Yeah.
No, two
See,
nights or
see, this
so.
is
Yeah,
my thing about festivals.
yeah.
I am lazy and I love sleeping in my bed so much, man. So like if you are going to take me to a festival, you better be able to move me like from the festival to where I'm going to sleep. Like I'm not going to sleep in a tent. I'm sorry, I can't
Oh,
do it.
it was raining. It was cold. But whatever they're
Right,
taking,
right,
I'm
right.
not
And
taking
like,
because maybe they don't
but
have the
but
same
I
in what I'm
understand
feeling.
that for festivals, that's the vibe you go for. Like
Right,
festivals,
right.
festivals are great. I just want to know that like 2, 3, I can get a car that'll take me somewhere to sleep. I don't want to sleep in the tent. But anyway, so you did evolve, and Dog Cartel also. You mentioned them. Fucking love. There's a guy that's in Dog Cartel that also does videos.
Yeah, I think it's Richard.
Oh man,
Is it?
his videos are great. Talking of
Oh,
that, like who does all the animations for Official Night Owls?
80. Matter of fact, 95% is Krakowi.
He does all those animations for the videos and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
God damn, that's a lot of work.
I'm telling you, man, Kirk goes hard. Yeah. Like he goes hard. Like
Okay, yeah, you guys don't sleep Official Night Owls. You don't
no,
sleep.
no,
Okay, got it,
man, it's
got it.
back to back, man.
So anyway, you do evolve, you do all this stuff. Now, at what point do you say, okay, I'm ready to start working on the next record, or I'm ready to start producing for people?
Yeah, so it was honestly it was when I was expecting my daughter, right? I'm like,
So
you,
pause. Let's rewind first.
I'm going too into the future, right?
Yeah. So you do this like the daughter can't come without the mother, right?
Right, right,
So
right, right, right,
so
right.
let's talk about that one. How do you guys meet?
I met my wife in the houses, and I was working with Imhotep Legacy at the time. So I just went on a lunch break, and I needed a lighter, and she happened to have one. Yeah.
Well, like, okay, so I mean, I'm guessing you meet her. She's, she has a nice personality, all that stuff. And like, how do you know? Like, I guess at what point did you know? Okay, this is like the person for me.
Yeah. So before we started dating officially was one thing that made me think, okay, I'm gonna date this girl first, right? Was the fact that she would bring me, lunch every time I was at work, right? Every time there's
She
warm
was feeding
sandwiches,
you well.
and I'm so excited that actually there's someone that's not my mom. Like only my mom would show me this type of love, or my sister, or
Right,
like
right,
yeah.
right,
So
right.
I'm like, no, nobody has shown me this type of love except my family. So
Mm.
so they'll come then cook for me, then I'll go back to the campus, eat some warm noodles, then go back to work.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. So and then you guys are together. We're like, most people are like, okay, let's try to have a kid. Like, was that something you guys planned for, or it's like, okay,
Absolutely.
kid is
Like
coming, right?
yes, it was planned. And I can't lie, I'm planning the second one now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
So I'm planning. Yeah. So
Right, right, right.
so that way, because I'm not good with surprises, right? I just like to be ready for stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. So your wife is pregnant. She's like getting ready to bring your daughter into the world.
Right.
You like, did that thing like fire some inspiration in you, or?
Oh, I was still more of in shock because it's my first time of bringing another person into the world. And I'll tell you a funny story because she already bought like some clothing and whatever because we already knew that it's gonna be a girl. So she bought some clothing and she already
Wait,
washed
thank
them.
you for doing that. Do you know I
Yeah.
fucking hate it when people say we want it to be a surprise. Like, what the fuck, man? Is it not going to be male or female?
Or
Like, there's
female.
no fucking ass surprise. Why don't you just go and check the. Oh, anyway. I've got to my rant out. So, like, you knew it was gonna be a girl, then you got the
Yeah.
outfits and stuff, yeah?
Yeah. So she'll wash them and sort of hang them in the bathroom. So, but me in the middle of the night, I just want to go pee, right? So I just go see this little clothing, and I'm shocked. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a third person very soon. I sort of forget. So it throws me off each time. I feel this overwhelming. I don't know what to say. This overwhelming feeling, and
Yeah.
then I see the ultra scan. It gets more realer every day, right?
Mm,
Yeah. You're like, this is happening. Yeah. So there's gonna be a third person.
right.
Yeah, and then when the baby finally comes, the day the baby comes, if you look at all those photos, all those smiles are not like, I don't feel anything at that point. I'm more of, this is the person I'm waiting for. I'm just looking. I don't know what I'm
Mm,
feeling. I know that this is mine, but I'm looking. I have no emotion. I can't really explain the emotion at that time, right? But as
mm,
that baby is growing, there is some sort of emotions that grow along with the baby. That's what I've learned.
What are
Yeah,
some of
from
these
the
emotions that grow with the baby?
Yeah, from the moment the baby, looks you in the eye and is excited to see you, there's something, it just warms up your heart, man. Like
Mm.
it was one of like the best feelings. I think I have a video of the first time she actually looked at me and was excited to see me. Yeah. So I have so many videos of her, growing up from daycare, running to come see me till when she's running, walking. So I'm gonna keep that till maybe she's 15, whatever, you know, and put a
Whoa.
whole, time lapse, for her. Yeah.
No, that's great. So like, she's here. How did that affect your music?
Uh yeah. The good thing was she is a heavy sleeper.
Nice.
Because at the time I had the studio in the room while I was making my other album, Love and Pride, at the time. So I had her in the room while making some of the album. I even have photos of her messing with some of my equipment. Yeah, yeah. So we made that album together.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, like, were you producing for other people in this period?
Oh, that period I was more focused on myself,
Mm.
and because I was dealing with some personal issues as far as my hearing at the time.
Oh, what
I had,
happened?
yeah, I I was having this partial deafness at some point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what caused it?
I had a fight in high school. Long story. Yeah,
So, like, from
yeah.
back then, like, the effects only came years
Oh,
later.
it's been damaged for a while, but
Oh, okay.
as I grew older, it got worse. I kept hearing the ringing. The ringing got louder, right? Yeah. So I had to
Oh.
go seek treatment. So I got treated for it, and so I had to take a whole year off. Dealing with other people's music. So I wanted to focus on understanding how I now hear things. You know what I mean? Because I'm not hearing things
Mm.
the way you hear things.
Mm.
So meaning
Mm.
it's gonna affect the
Mm.
way I mix. It's gonna affect the way I master. So I came back into mixing and mastering as of February after my album.
Mm.
That's when I came back
Mm.
into doing this work for other people.
Wow. Okay, okay. And everything's all good now?
Yes, yes. I'm still gauging myself. So I'm working with numbers visually at the same time. You're using my ears and using references. So that way I'm able to understand my environment the way I should, just the way that how will I explain this? So I might hear things, you may hear things really loud, I might hear them muffled in some areas, right? Because there are different
Okay.
levels of frequencies, right, that I cannot hear. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. 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 So, I mean, I mean, from your Instagram, it's clear that you love being a dad. But like, what are some things you actually love about being a dad? And is there anything you don't like about being a dad?
Um, Nothing really, just being human. When your child is just not eating, and so I'm constantly thinking, what am I gonna make? I'll make noodles, I'll make broccoli, I'll make egg, and then she's like, no, 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 and then but you can tell she's hungry. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
gets frustrating at times. And but other than that, we love sleep. So if a child is not sleeping, then definitely you as an adult you'll be irritated at some point. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been very lucky. My daughter sleeps like she can sleep through an earthquake, bro. Like nothing. Yeah, like I crank up my speakers because when she was born, I was still making my album, so my speakers was in the room. So when she's sleeping, I'm making beats.
What?
Yeah,
And she's not
so
waking up.
she grew up to just being around that type of sound. Will not move, nothing. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
Will she like? How old is she now?
She's 2 years old. 2 years.
So, are you going to introduce her to any instrument, music, anything like that?
Uh yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll have the piano around for sure. I mean, what I know. But at the same time, I'm keeping an eye on, the things she's more interested in, and the things she wants to touch the most. So I know this is mostly like puzzles and some apps that have all these animal questions. In this group, what do you see? This is sheep or a cow? Like, okay, I see a sheep. Stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she messes with that. But I do hope to put her into coding, as she grows older, start getting like
Mm.
coding toys so that's just gonna be the type of toys around. Because sooner or later that's the world we're gonna live in.
Right, 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 right.
That's the
Especially
truth,
now
yeah.
with AI and machine learning.
Oh,
I don't have the aptitude for that. I have the like. I'm the concepts person. I'll
yep.
say like, oh, this is kind of the concept. Then I'll just give it to people that will code. I don't even want to look at code at all.
Yeah,
Here's the
yeah,
thing, though. Your wife is Asian. You are black for sure. So your daughter is mixed race. Like, were
right.
there any first off, being married first, like, were there any cultural differences, and like, were there any things that you're worried about in the world today, raising a daughter that'll be interracial, mixed,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
biracial,
Yeah,
biracial, my
right,
English.
right, right. So I have my worries, no doubt, for sure. Especially, let's say at some point, I know I'm gonna visit China, right? And I do read the news all the time. I see lots of mixed kids from black fathers, and the title is usually these are the people the fathers left, stuff like that. So I wouldn't want my daughter to be treated that way. So these are some of the things that and I also find myself fighting stereotypes. It's like taking the burden of a whole race on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mental thing. I try to deal with it. And sometimes I deal with some racism that is so subtle, so like it's not right in your face, but it's
Mm.
just right there. But I always make sure to deal with it in the most polite way, in order not to burn any bridges.
Does any example come to mind of such an experience?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So whereby where a situation whereby two agents are discussing about a daycare, you know what I mean? And then they're like, daycare is a little scary for your kid, and then the Asian lady goes ahead to say, what if the black kid beat up your kid? You see what I mean? So that's just a baby, and you already assume that
Mm.
baby is already more powerful. I know there are some Chinese guys that can beat me up.
I know
you,
what
you
you
know what I
mean.
mean?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So putting that on a child really hurt me. So these are some things I hear that sort of like makes me put on this face or this emotion, or just start ranting or saying some things that might be
Mm.
hurtful later. Anyways, you know. But these are my fears.
Mm. Mm. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go soon because I know you're starting to work on this project. You kind of talked about it, but before I go, let's talk about Moon Media. How did that begin, and then also talk about this new project you're working on.
Yeah. So Moon Media was sort of like an idea of uh having like this little media station, whereby we are able to provide services for other artists at the most subsidized rate. You know what I mean? So instead of going through standard studio prices, based on we have the skills, right? So we are able to subsidize that and just use our skills, and
Mm.
help out, artists, get promo materials out there. And but sadly, most artists don't notice, they don't appreciate it until you stop doing it for them, and then they're like, "Oh, this is expensive."
Aha.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I noticed though, like it's mostly musicians that have that thing. Why? Why do you think that happens that way, especially with artists?
yeah. I just feel like why I say that they don't appreciate it is let's say someone like me, I can say you want to come make a song, you make that song. I would have told you goodbye, good day, have a good night, take my money and go sleep. But I would tell you, hey, you know what, this song is nice. This is the idea I have for the video, and then I'll do this video for free, you know. Then I'll do all of this, but then that artist will still be like, yeah, you're wasting time, you're doing this, or you gotta fix 10 things. I'm like, no, I can't fix 10 things because this is free. It's a promo stuff. It's free. So you start making unnecessary demands for a free product.
Right.
So I just feel like it is it's
Yeah.
not right. Yeah.
Anyway, and then so tell me about this new project you are working on. Also, actually, first before you talk about the project, let's talk about like COVID. How COVID affected your music and just life in general the last year till this new lockdown we are in now.
Yeah. I mean, as for me, I'm an introvert normally, anyways. So
I
so
can
COVID didn't
relate. I
really
can relate.
COVID didn't really change much of my pattern as far as because I go to the same places: daycare, home, studio, daycare, studio, home, right? So I don't
Yeah.
go nowhere, and except when I'm doing parties. So, but it affected me in terms of videography, right? And usually summertime people want to shoot videos because the weather is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But now nobody's really going out, and you can't really have so many people together. So shooting
Right.
videos with
Right.
nice scenery is out of the question.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
some of those
Right.
those little things we used to do in the summertime, all scrapped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. But like you mentioned you're thinking of working on a new project. I think I'll end with that. Tell me a little bit about this project and what the process is working on it.
yeah. So this project is a project that I decided to use a different approach. You know, so I just picked some instrumentals that I felt like, are not my best. And then because I believe that the ones that are not your best might be the best to other people. So I sat down to write music to those instrumentals, and for some reason they turned out so good. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna, cause it was the pandemic. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna turn my worst music to the best music. That's just it. So I decided to title this EP the Pandemic Pandemonium. Yeah. So that way, we call it the EP PP, or you can call it the PP EP.
The PPEP. Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice. I like that one.
yeah, yeah.
I saw actually just the other day, just a few days ago, you had a video on your Instagram with a Renya. Is that gonna be on the project?
I'm still thinking about that because that was just like something we made on the spot. Arenya came in, it's like
Oh.
let's get a vibe together. I'm like, okay, we just started making the beat,
Yeah.
and then he sang on it. I'm like, oh, this fire, man. Let's just do a 1 minute track, then shoot a 1 minute video and leave the rest to Moon Media. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
that was
no, it came
fire.
out great. Like, but you had so many shots there, so you just did the 1 minute over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, over and over. Sometimes it was like one take for like five different loops of the entire song. Yeah,
Mm.
and that way I'll pick the right movements. Where he wasn't doing the Rennie boy, fine boy. I can make.
It's always like posing.
Shout out to Rennie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
yeah.
man, Moonwalka, thank you so much for coming to the sanctuary and sharing all these stories and like, uh I can't wait for the PPEP and like once the album is out, I'm sure after
Yeah.
listening to it, it'll be great to have you come back to talk about that EP.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll be happy to come again.
I will never ever let go. I got a soft heart for your smooth skin, I'm a liar. If I ever told you, girl, I was never tripping. Every day you see, I am stripping. Just for you, my baby.